The Rangers are back out on the road, this time headed down to Florida to the Gulf Coast. Face the Tampa Bay Lightning, the red-hot Tampa Bay Lightning. Coming off the first home win, should be an interesting game. But we'll see if they can carry momentum from one game to the next. Hasn't been so easy yet this year. Hey everybody, I'm Todd Werwa, your host for Rangers Daily, presented by FanArch. Please subscribe. Please leave your comments. Give me the thumbs up. If you like the content, ask questions, leave thoughts. I appreciate them all. I read them all. And I love making this a two-way conversation about the Rangers, who hopefully we all love. Anyway, Rangers headed to Tampa. Like I said, they're red hot. They started off really, really slow. They were 1-4-2 in the first 7 games, averaging only 2.6 goals per game, allowing 3.4. That's not usually John Cooper's not usually Tampa Bay Lightning hockey. Certainly not. They allowed 321 shot attempts and only had 319 attempts for themselves, 49.8%. Not very good at all. Everyone was like, uh-oh, what's going on with the Lightning? Big changes in the Atlantic. And then October 25th came around, and their next 8, they're 7-1-0, scoring 3.5 goals a game, allowing only 2.1. Not bad. Little different. Shot attempts 353, only allowed 314. Now it's up to 52.9% shot share. And plus, they've beaten a whole lot of good teams. You know, they're not just beating the lesser knowns. They've beat the Red Hot Ducks. They've beaten Vegas twice. They've beaten Dallas. They've beaten Utah. They've beaten Washington in this run. Their only loss in that run was 3-2 to Colorado. We know Colorado has been playing extremely well. Nathan MacKinnon lightened things up as usual. So the Lightning playing extremely good hockey. The Rangers hopefully can build momentum off their first home win. I think that lifted a weight off of everybody's shoulders. I think it makes them breathe a little easier. I think they shouldn't be gripping the sticks. They shouldn't be looking to potentially leave the structure and system for their own scoring glory just to try and make something happen. I think it relieves a lot of the pressure. I think it meant a lot to a lot of the guys. Certainly means a lot to have Vinny Trocheck back. Great seeing Gabe Perreault in the lineup. We'll talk about the youth movement, but a couple of key pieces there that are young, and then I have a question for you as well. But let's talk a little more Lightning. Jake Gensel leads the team with 15 points. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists in this 8-game run. Nikita Kucherov, 4 goals, 2 assists in this 8-game run. He only played 6 of these last 8. He's second on the team with 14 points. He's his usual Studley self. The big change, Brandon Hagel. He had 0 goals, 1 assist in those first 7 games. The last 8, 7 goals, 6 assists, 13 points. So got to watch out for him. He's moving up their scoring chart. Another fantastic player. They have a lot of scoring options. Victor Hedman, I think, maybe 4th on the team in points. He's, as we know, an all-time. He's one of those that you already pencil in. Okay, if he retired today, would he be a Hall of Famer? Yes. By the way, congratulations to all the amazing players, male and female, who just got inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame on Monday night. Victor Hedman, once he retires, will be joining them shortly. Andrei Vasilevsky, his last 6, he's only 5-1-0 with a .923 save percentage. So the stars are starting to shine for the Bolts, starting to make things in Tampa look like we expect them to. They're a good team. They're a very good team. The Rangers obviously, lead the league in road play. They know how to win on the road. They know how to face good teams on the road. You get a team quite as hot as Tampa. Maybe different teams, obviously, but Detroit had won 5 in a row at home when the Rangers played them. I don't think we've really hit on anybody yet that's been 7-1-0 in the last 8. So should be an interesting challenge. And hopefully the Rangers can build momentum. Every time I think they're going to get momentum, like after the Montreal game, after the Edmonton game, both of them great comebacks, there doesn't really seem to be anything built, but maybe now having the MSG offer off their back, they can carry something from game to game. Would be nice. Want to go back to that Nashville game. I really didn't like the way they played the third period. I won't call it troubling, but I will call it worrying. If you can differentiate it there. They entered the period up 5-1, and I know it's easy to let your guard down, play a little fast and loose. Score adjusted. The other team's going to be shooting away to try and get back into it. But the message to the players was, don't do anything foolish, grind out the game, and finish it off. And instead, they took 3 penalties, 8:59, Trocheck for holding the stick, 10:11, Borgen for a slash, and 11:33, Trocheck, who had come out of the box, came back on the ice and got himself another penalty for hooking, gave up 2 lengthy 5-on-3s. Matthew Wood scored on one of the power plays to make it 5-2. I don't think anyone was quite worried, but they were outshot 16-6 in that third at all strengths. They were out-attempted 33-10. At 5-on-5, it was 22-8, so it wasn't all just the shooting gallery of the power play. And scoring chances were 14-4 for Nashville. And Nashville was missing Roman Josi. They're clearly, looked like a beaten team, although they kept fighting, but they're just not, the highest caliber. And it just looked sloppy. It turned into a shooting gallery on Igor, which I don't think anyone really wanted. A lot of scrambling in their own zone with some long shifts. They also got scored on in the final minute again, which I know, okay, it's the final minute of a 6-2 game, makes it 6-3, but it's just, again, there's a way to finish periods off. There's a way to finish games off. There's a way to grind out a big lead and not give the other team any hope. And they did exactly the opposite. They seem to give Nashville some hope, but hopefully it's not a trend. Hopefully it was just the anomaly of, being up big, a lot of goal scorers at home, a lot of excitement in the Garden for the first win. But I can imagine, as happy as they were, the coaching staff was a little upset as they probably reviewed the film and worked through stuff with the players to say, listen, we can't have structure periods 1 and 2 and then abandon it, because things happen quickly, things change, and you give team momentum, you give them hope, and they can, stranger comebacks have happened. Good stuff on Tuesday about the youth movement, the addition of the young guys, not just Gabe Perreault, but Noah Laba and Will Cooley, just making a difference on the team. Perreault played on the top line. When he was on the ice, the attempts were somewhat heavily in favor of Nashville, but he looked the part. He had a real nice assist. He looked the part of a top liner. He fell a little bit. Every now and then it looked like, is he ready for prime time? But he looked like he fit the part. There's a reason why everybody's been clamoring to have him up. Gives that line some more creativity, gives that line some more speed, gives it that dogged, youthful determination, I guess you'd call it. And it was great to see him in the lineup again. Should be right back in the same spot against the Lightning, right up on that top line. And I think he will last. Knock on wood. I'm hoping he will last. I'll hope he at least gets another point, plays well, helps that line, because if Miller and Mika, if they can start, Amika scored, obviously. If JT can start scoring, what a difference for this team. The Laba and Cooley together, because of Trocheck's return and putting Perot up on the top line, it moves Cooley with Laba on the third line. And I think Laba's 22, Cooley's 23. They're really had a bond, especially as Laba moved up to second center for a few games there. The two of them are coming together with a real good relationship. Mike Sullivan had a great soundbite, talking about Laba and Cooley together. It just gives us better balance on both sides of the puck. Obviously, something you really want with your third line. I think Labs and Will are both good-sized kids that can really skate, so it's a speed-driven line. They're good on the forecheck. They're hard to play against by nature of their size. I think the size and the willingness to forecheck is huge, obviously for the third line, but to have speed along with that drive and forecheck, what a difference compared really to the other two lines. What a great sort of little different turn, different look that the Rangers can now throw out there. And, Laba's shown he can put the puck in the net a couple of times. Cooley scored 20 last year. I hope it's not viewed as a step back for Cooley going to the third line, but I think those two, no matter who is on the right, and there was some shifting between Radish and Sherry in practice on Tuesday, no matter who's the third person, I think Cooley and Laba fit the same profile. Cooley leads the team in hits. Laba's not afraid to check and hit, and he puts himself in good defensive positions. So that youth movement, which we talk about the team being so old, but the youth movement has made a big difference. I do have a question for you. Answer your thoughts in the comments. Do we include the 24-year-olds in the youth movement? Cooley 23, that's sort of the top of it. Do we include the 24-year-olds? That would include Schneider, Robertson, Parsonen, and Lafreniere. I don't have the answer. You can do with it what you want, but I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you look at those guys as part of the youth movement or more middle of the pack? Finally, one quick note on the Fox and Gavrikov pairing. I think it's coming along very nicely. You see them talking to each other, communicating, whistle, when there's a whistle, as they're getting ready to leave the ice at the end of a period, and they're just talking constantly, and you see hand motions and movements trying to anticipate what each other is going to do. I think the numbers on Gavrikov defensively are fantastic, and Fox is contributing offense. So they're making a fantastic pair. Fox against Nashville had his 29th multi-assist period. Yeah, not bad. He moved into third in franchise history, passing Brad Park. Ron Greshner has 30, so that's multi-assist periods, 30. Number one on the list, Brian Leetch with 70. Yeah, Leetch was fantastic. Just an amazing offensive defenseman and defensive defenseman, but great puck carrier, great all-around player, just a true Ranger legend. So, I would say to be in the comp with Leetch is one thing, but to still be, 40-plus multi-assist periods behind Leetch, it shows you just how good Brian Leetch is. But Fox nowhere close to done. One number stat for you from Money Puck, defensive pairs with 200-plus minutes. Gavrikov and Fox are number one in expected goals percentage at 59.7, and number three in expected goals against per 60 with only 2.12. So they're doing the shutdown thing. They're playing really well. They're coming together. We'll see how they do against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Wednesday. Should be a great one. Again, please subscribe. Please leave your comments. I'm Todd Werwa. We're here with Rangers Daily, Monday through Friday. And until next time, thanks for watching.